You're all welcome to yet another edition of Ryan Salas's weekly presentation, video presentation. For this week, we'll be talking about the suspension of RUGA and the security situation in Nigeria. I'm your host, Lazarus Ahangba, the Director of Programs at the head office here in Makoti, Benue State. In this topic today, we'll be looking at the security situation in Nigeria with focus on the RUGA and its suspension. Nigeria as a country has been embroiled in a lot of security challenges of late. Just about yesterday, it came to my notice that we're talking about the 10th year of insurgency in the country. And this insecurity cuts across so many or has so many types or forms. Insurgency being the most prominent in the country. We have the issue of farmers' headers clashes. We have the issue of kidnapping, armed robbery, the issues of religious conflicts, cultism and gang wars, and so many other forms of insecurity in Nigeria. And these issues have caused a lot of havoc, cutting across so many dimensions, from social to economic to all forms of consequences, affecting us as a country and affecting us as a people. Before we move further on, let us try to get a few understanding of some basic concepts. Like I was going through the dictionary this morning, trying to find out exactly what security is and what is not from a dictionary point of view. And from what I got was, it says security is a state of being, security is a state of feeling secure or feeling, or is a feeling of protection, or the feeling of a protection by a person, or protection of a building or of an organization, of a country against threats such as crime or attacks by foreign countries. And then a security expert also say it defines security as a stability and continuity of livelihoods. He say it's a predictability of income or protection from crime. He say it's a predictability of daily life and freedom from psychological harm. That's what he said security is. So I'll take that again. The expert said security is a stability and continuity of livelihoods. It is a predictability of income, protection from crime. It is also a predictability of daily life and freedom from psychological harm. I love this definition because he's talking about a continuity and the predictions of that continuity. And for me, that's what security adequately is. If I can wake up and project, okay, in the next 10 years, I'm going to live in this city, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I say that with some sense of confidence, I'm talking from a security point of view. And for me, that says it all. Security is all about the ability to be relaxed and be open and be free from that fear of danger, from that fear of harm, and saying that, okay, based on the security reports or security situation open to me, I can do this, I can do that. I can predict my income, I can predict my daily life, I can predict anything I want to do. And that is why the police always tell you that citizens can go about their normal business. Going about your normal business. Waking up in the morning and knowing that I have my 9 to 5 to go to. Waking up in the morning and knowing that, okay, my kids will go to school and come back safely. Waking up in the morning and knowing that I can go about my daily business. Go to the market and sell my fish, go to the market and sell my meat, or travel to any part of the country without fear whatsoever. Now that is security. And then on the flip side of it, what would insecurity be if that be security? And the expert still says insecurity is a state of fear or anxiety stemming from a concrete or alleged lack of protection. From a concrete or an alleged lack of protection. You see, when you live in fear, from a concrete reason or from an alleged reason or even from a perceived reason, you are living in a state of insecurity. And then this state today, unfortunately, most unfortunately, that is the state in which Nigerians are living today. We are living in a state of fear. Before you travel, you make phone calls. I am going to Sokoto. I hope there is no problem along the way. You want to travel, you check the internet, you check Facebook to see whether somebody is reporting on Facebook or any social media there is a problem somewhere. You travel and your families are calling you at every interval to know whether you are safe or not. That is insecurity, and that's what we are living under in Nigeria today. And it is so unfortunate. Now, how did we get here? Nigeria got into this problem of this damning insecurity situation owing to a plethora of reasons. Now, somebody will say, what are the somebody talk about failure in institutions, because that is one of the basic reasons for the collapse of the security situation in Nigeria, or the failing situation of security in Nigeria today, the collapse of our institutions. Our institutions are failing by the day, and the failure of these institutions have repercussions. If the health systems have collapsed or is collapsing, if the health systems are collapsing, the educational systems are collapsed, even the security apparatus themselves are not functioning full blast, and that way people are beginning. There is this yearning by the people. There is this feeling of inequality. Now, this is the failure of these institutions that have breeded inequality. And why are the institutions failing? The institutions are failing basically due to even corruption issues, because resources that are meant to keep these institutions running are not being used maximally, or they are not used optimally the way they are supposed to be used. But of course, this discussion is not about the causes of insecurity. We are trying to look at how we can manage the system and how to make it better. Now, let us zero in on one of the most recurring security issues in Nigeria, which is the issue of farmers and herders. The farmer herder insecurity in Nigeria has been a recurring decimal, but it is getting worse as time goes on. I mean, as we progress, as we move on, as we go on forward. The crisis between farmers and herders is getting more violent and taking a more dangerous dimension. Of course, it has claimed several lives. In Benue, I was doing a little study on that, and I got to understand that the crisis have been recurring in Benue for close to 14 years running now. It started in the early 2000s, and it's been there. It's been recurring and claiming lives more and more. The last time we checked, almost 3,000 to 4,000 lives had been lost owing to farmers' herders' crisis, and properties worth several billions being wasted, either burned down or carted away or somehow destroyed as a result of the farmer herders' crisis. And the situation in Benue is the situation across several other states. Plateau State, Taraba State, so many other states in Nigeria, Nasarawa, you can go on counting. And recently we are hearing the issues of farmer herders in the southwest. It's like that all over the country. The issue of farmers and herders is taking a very dangerous dimension. Just as the Boko Haram insurgents is going down, farmer herders crisis is rising up. And now we are having the twin most dangerous security situations almost at par, almost at the same level with our citizens in the country. So this issue of farmers herders crisis has caused, like I said, has caused so much so much havoc, and it has come to a point where the federal government and the state government alike have been looking into how to stem the crisis. In Benue State, the Benue State government came up with the anti-open grazing and anti-open grazing law. They came up with that law about 2 years ago, where open grazing was prohibited. That law prohibits herders from open grazing. The state law says that for you to graze in Benue, you have to own a ranch, and that ranch was there are steps towards which anybody wanting to own a ranch will have to go through in order to own that ranch and graze within the ranch as stipulated by the state government. Now that law has been a bit controversial, and it has generated a lot of heat and a lot of crisis owing to that law. Now the federal government again recently came up with another means or another policy which they believe could help the farmers herders crisis across the country. He came up with RUGA, and under the federal government's proposal for RUGA, it said it wanted states that were interested in RUGA to allocate some pieces of land across their states, where those lands can become like grazing fields for cattle to graze. And according to the government proposal, federal government's proposal, that piece of land or that area in which is being earmarked for cattle to graze will have facilities that will make life comfortable for the herders that will be grazing their cattle in those areas. There will be marketplaces, there will be banks, there will be security, there will be so many things within that area. Now, the federal government said its reason for coming up with that policy was for them to try to curb the farmers' herders crisis that's becoming a recurring decimal in the country. Now, so many that proposal didn't resonate well with so many Nigerians. Nigerians came out in their droves to say no, it's not just about farmer, it's not just about controlling the farmer herder crisis, but a ploy, so to speak, to take away land from the ancestral owners, to take away land from people who originally owned the land and hand it over to herders, to people who are not originally from there. Is a way of colonizing, so to speak, their lands and giving it to others. And of course, the outcry against the RUGA policy had led to its suspension, and now we are back to where we are. So the issue now is that how did RUGA come about? From what we gathered, it was the National Food Security Council that made that recommendation. From what we find out, the National Food Security is made up of the 36 governors and the vice president and some other senior officials in the Ministry of Agriculture and some other top government functionaries. They formed the Food Security Council, and they are an offshoot of the Global Food Security Council. And let me just talk a little about the Food Security Council. The Food Security Council was formed as Nigeria's response to the global food security crisis. And for the sake and purpose of this discussion, Nigeria has been ranked as the 89th country among the 124 most food crisis prone countries of the world. So we are way down the radar in terms of food security. So government now set up a National Food Security Council to look into how food security can be controlled in Nigeria. As we speak, more than 3 to 4 million Nigerians are under serious food crisis, and the federal government set up this council to look for ways under which food can be secured in Nigeria. So it was the Food Security Council that came up with the option of RUGA, which it presented to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture as a way of trying to ensure food security in Nigeria. Now, somebody will say, what's the relationship between food security and farmer herders crisis? Of course, the nexus is so strong. The connection is so strong. So strong in the sense that when farmers and herders clash, there are a lot of consequences. Farmers, and we all know that these clashes are often very violent. Very, very violent. In Benue State, as we speak, there are internally displaced persons camps housing several thousands of people who have left their homes, who have fled their farmlands, who have been living in these camps for so long. So of them, as we speak, if you go to places like Daudu, there are camps there where hundreds and thousands of people are living there, and they've left their farmlands. Now, since they have left their farmlands, who is farming on those lands? Nobody is farming on those lands. And what does that mean? That means there's going to be food shortage. Now, it's not just in Benue, it's in Taraba, and it's in Plateau, and several other places where there is this violent farmer herders crisis. The people they run away and leave their farmlands, which means that there's going to be there is this serious shortage in food production. So that is the connection between farmer herder crisis and food security. So that was the reason why the National Food Security came up with that option and said, okay, fine, since cattle herding is part of agriculture and cattle herding has this direct connection to food crisis, let us find a policy where herders can can be confined to a given space, and within that space don't have any reason to go out, and don't have any reason to say, okay, we are going to look for water, we are going to look for market to sell our cattle, we are going to look for bank to keep our money, we are going to look for, government say, okay, fine, give us, let states provide fields where these cattle can be constrained, can be confined to. And that was how this policy came about. But Nigerians said no, they don't want that policy. That it was a decoy on the part of government. It was a plan to seize lands from people. Now, why was that? Why did the people reject that policy? They didn't reject that policy basically because I think what happened was that there was lack of information, lack of adequate awareness creation on RUGA by the government itself. What I think the National Food Security Council and the Ministry of Agriculture have done was to educate Nigerians adequately on what RUGA was and what it was not. Now, while the challenge or while the crisis was going on, while the debate was going on, not enough was heard from the National Food Security Council, not enough was heard from the from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, not enough was heard by the people who were promoting this policy in Nigeria. They were a bit silent, and the naysayers went to town and promoted this jingle of decoy, of a plot to hijack land, and it resonated with people. So now that we have said no to RUGA, what are the alternatives? We said we don't want the federal government to set aside. We have refused to concede our lands for government to provide or to make spaces for grazing. But we didn't provide any alternative to that. So that is one question that we are saying there is a strong need for us to sit and look at the alternatives. Now that we are saying no to RUGA, what are the alternatives in place? Now let's look at the anti-grazing law in Benue, the anti-open grazing law in Benue. The open grazing law in Benue says for you to graze your cattle in Benue, you need to get a license and set up a ranch, and within that ranch you you can graze as much as you want within the ranch in which you go. But then again, the problem with that arrangement is there is no clear-cut measures on who is to negotiate for land or who will issue the license, the modalities for getting the license, and all the other nitty-gritty involved in getting these ranches. And these are the issues. These are weighty and very grievous issues that we feel that needs to be trashed out, need to be really. So if we are even going to adopt the anti-grazing law policy which Benue State spearheaded or adopted, so to speak, what we should be looking at this area. So what options are we putting what options are we bringing to the table to negate this herders farmers crisis? Perhaps I think maybe we should review our stand on RUGA and look at it from an unbiased mind. Perhaps the issue of herders farmers crisis has poisoned people's mind, and people see it as a Fulani agenda. And it is high time it behoves on government now to convince the people that look, RUGA is not actually a Fulani, so to speak, agenda, but a food security agenda, an agenda that will protect lives, that will protect property, that will enhance peace in the community. Because by and large, by the way, when this policy started, 11 states had already signed on it. And for me, I think the suspension was not all that good. If perhaps we would have just allowed the 11 states to run with it so that we can copy, we can see from them whether if actually it was going to work or not. This issue, we are looking at it from a security point of view, strictly, because we are saying now that it has been suspended, what alternatives do we have in place? That's the question, and that's the question that we are saying perhaps we should look at it again critically and say, fine, now that we don't want RUGA, this is what we want. This is how we want it. This is where we want it. We should put it in a clear 1, 2, 3 step approach, so that there will be peace in Nigeria. Because peace is what we need in Nigeria, in whatever form. Because as it is now, we cannot. What we did was throwing away the baby and the bathwater, if you ask me. Because what we must accept and understand is that herding cattle is not a Fulani thing. And that is one thing that we need to disabuse our minds against. It's something that everybody can involve himself in. I can rear cattle, you can rear cattle, everybody can rear cattle. So we shouldn't look at it from, okay, perhaps it's just like Igbos that are ahead in maybe spare part business, or people are into farming and all that. So we should look at it that every tribe, every stock in Nigeria have its own page. Every tribe in Nigeria has its own peculiar stock in which it deals in. And it happens that cattle herding happens to be Fulani dominated business, but that doesn't mean that it's an entirely Fulani business. Anybody can go into it. So whatever security arrangement that the Nigerians want to bring on the issue of cattle herding in Nigeria should not be looked at it from a Fulani agenda. Should be looked at it from a peace and security agenda. So now that we have suspended RUGA, what are we bringing in place to curb the farmers' herders crisis in Nigeria? Like I said, let us the Benue State's cattle grazing and anti-grazing law could be an option. We can take that option again and look at it and try to find out the areas where that law is not so strong on, and make it more robust. We could come up with other alternatives. We could even review the RUGA itself. For us to just push RUGA out the window and say we don't want RUGA in Nigeria, is a plan to take over our land, is a plan to colonize us, is a plan to do this, without giving an alternative and being quiet about it, is still on the cake of gunpowder. It's saying, okay, fine. It's like saying we don't know, or we are saying that fine. We have pushed RUGA out, and therefore the danger has been, or the issue has been thrown away with, or at least has been suspended with RUGA itself. The issue can never be suspended because the headers are always there. So as long as the headers are there, it is high time we sit together as a people at all levels of governance, from the local to the federal, to say, fine, now that RUGA has been suspended, it is time for us to come up with a people-oriented. Perhaps RUGA was suspended because its origin didn't resonate from the people. So maybe at this time, what government and the National Food Security Council should do, it should involve the people in coming up with a plan, an all-inclusive plan that will include that will carry the people along. The headers themselves, the people who the headers are going to be grazing, or the people. Let me take it again. We should have a plan that is all-inclusive. All-inclusive here meaning the people on whose land the headers are grazing, the headers themselves, government, civil society, the academia, experts, religious groups, everybody should be involved in coming up with a plan. Maybe we shouldn't even call it RUGA. Perhaps the issue was even with the name, because a lot of I remember when the RUGA crisis or the RUGA issue was up in the air, people were busy asking, what is RUGA? Where did that name originate from? So perhaps the origin came from even the name. So it would be good if government can come up, if we the people, not just government now, we can even come together as a people and tell government that, look, it's not as if we are against this or against that. We equally want peace in Nigeria. But your RUGA, the RUGA that you came up was your own initiative, not ours. So this is our own alternative, or this is our own option of your RUGA. Perhaps we should come up with a 1, 2, 3 step. Like I said, it should be an all-inclusive affair. Government, the civil society, farmers, headers, everybody sitting at a table and coming up with an option of saying that this is how we want it to be. I think if we do that, it will save us a lot of security challenge. And that again, we can even begin to have it from a community, from the world level. Thank God, this new government has stabilized to a certain extent. The National Assembly have had its structures clearly settled, even at the state assembly level. So we can start this conversation from now. Begin to have the state assemblies call on to people, issue out a memo to the people, come up with suggestions on how we think we can deal with this farmer header crisis thing. Now that we have suspended RUGA, now that RUGA have been thrown out the window, let us have a people-oriented solution to the conflict, to this constant farmer header crisis. Let the states come up with options. Let the federal government sit with the states, with local governments and then let them come up with a plan that will appeal to all parties involved. That way, I think that farmer header crisis can be resolved. And that again brings us to the issue of community policing. While we found or while we fine-tune measures towards ensuring lasting peace between farmers and herders in Nigeria, we can, in the interim, enhance our community policing strategies as a way of mainstreaming or maintaining peace in our communities. Now, what does community policing mean? Community policing simply means a system of policing where the communities and the police have a robust relationship. It brings the police and citizens together it brings the police and citizens together to prevent crimes in neighborhoods. Now, if communities can come together with the police in neighborhoods to solve crime, we believe even in this farmer header crisis and other forms of insecurity that are bedeving Nigeria today can be controlled most reasonably. It is said that it is seen as an effective way to promote public safety and enhancing the quality of life in a community. It is something that can help. So even as we are looking at options that can help sustain peace in our community, even as we look for them, let us begin to imbibe the culture of community policing. Community policing will also help, and we are at this juncture calling on government to begin to invest in the concept of community policing. Yesterday we had the IG in the news. We read that the IG have given a directive that community police men should be recruited nationwide. That's a step in the right direction. Now, by the time the people and the police are working in tandem, it will help to solve a lot of these crises and security challenges we are having in Nigeria today. On that note, I think we'll be bringing this discussion to a close. But before I go, let me just quickly summarize what we have said in this discussion today. First, we say Nigeria is experiencing a lot of security challenges, and these security challenges is in different forms and dimensions, from insurgency to farmer header crisis to kidnapping to ethno-religious crisis and other forms of security challenges that we are facing in Nigeria today. And we zero it and say, but one of the most damning of this crisis after the insurgency is the farmers headers crisis. And we said the farmers headers crisis has caused a lot of havoc and has a lot of consequences, chiefly because it's leading to loss of lives, loss of property, and even threatening our food situation. And we also say that there is a big connection between food security and farmers headers crisis. That riding on the back of the insecurity issue, the National Food Security Council recommended the RUGA option as a way of controlling the farmers' header crisis. And the RUGA option to the government was that some piece of land in states should be partitioned and kept as grazing reserves or as grazing areas for headers to graze. And Nigerians rejected that move on the grounds that it was suspicious, it was dubious, and they weren't involved. And we say that fine. Now that it's been suspended, we should not wish the problem away. We should rather come together. We should congregate as a people and find an all-inclusive solution to the issue of farmers' headers crisis. We can adopt the ranching option as Benue did and fine-tune in gray areas. We can come up with other solutions. But at the end of it all, we should come up as a people with an all-inclusive solution to this constant or this recurring farmers' header crisis in Nigeria. And we say, even as we work towards that solution, we should imbibe the concept of community policing, which is police and community people working hand in hand to solve crime or insecurity challenges within neighborhoods. And by the time every neighborhood in Nigeria has a strong and robust community policing system in place, security situation in Nigeria can be reduced and controlled drastically. And on this note, I want to thank you so much for tuning in and being with us on this edition of Lazarus Ahangba Weekly Live Streaming. And once again, I'm your host, Lazarus, and I invite you to stay tuned and watch out for more episodes, even as of next week. Thank you so much, and goodbye.